finishing characters with Sean. So in your character creation episode, we rolled up your character.
Yes.
You chose your race and class. And remind the viewers, you are going to be a Rock Gnome Rogue.
Yes.
Right. Now, did we go through, we didn't go through your proficiencies yet. We just went through your racial abilities. So let's take a look at what the Rock Gnome gives you in terms of anything additional to that. And I think we got everything, but now we're going to take a look at Rogue. So we really need to kind of flesh out the rest of your character. And we're also going to choose your background today. So just so you understand, a background is basically like an opportunity for you to have some subtle differences, right? Because if there weren't backgrounds, your rogue would just be based on kind of like your ability scores and the proficiencies that you choose, and a couple other subtle variations.
Right.
But a background's basically a way to add more character to your character, right? The idea is that, before you trained as a rogue, you probably had some other skills that you developed, right? Like,
Yeah.
Normal people in the real world aren't just like one thing, right? For example, me, I am a teacher, but I also make video, and I play role-playing games, and I'm a rock star. So, see, those are all different things, right? So, let's go through, as a rogue, what kind of proficiencies you get and abilities you get, and then we'll look at backgrounds, and you can choose a background.
Okay.
So, as a rogue, you're going to start off with 1d8, and I think we did hit points for you already. Yeah.
These?
Yeah, so your
Yes.
constitution is what?
18.
It is?
Yes.
Why? Oh, you have beast rolls, dude. All right, so that means that your starting hit points are going to be 8 plus 4. So you're going to write 12 in that box.
Hit point maximum or just?
Yeah, hit point maximum is 12. Write it kind of small, maybe write a circle around it. And then, whenever you're in combat or whatever you suffer hit points in that bigger box, you can write down where your current status is. Okay. Now, another important thing is your armor proficiencies. You're not going to need to write this down, but rogues typically are proficient in light armor. They can't be wearing like heavy armor if they're trying to be sneaky and stuff, so they're typically trained with light armor.
Okay.
So we'll get to your option, but basically you're going to have leather armor. So down here in this middle column, you could write leather armor. Now, leather armor gives you an armor class of 10 plus 1, I think, and then you add your dexterity bonus. So I'm just going to double check that, because when you've been playing D&D for 40 years, sometimes you don't get the rules exactly correct, and then 50 million nerds on YouTube point out one thing that you didn't do right. Hey, nerds, what's up?
That's an oddly specific story
Yes.
you just said.
All right, so yeah. So leather armor is 11 plus your dex modifier. Now your dex is 18. That gives you a modifier of plus 4. So your total armor class is pretty good for a rogue. It's 15.
Right here.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay. Now, under where your languages are, just write down thieves' tools. I'll spell that for you, Sean. THIEVES apostrophe. So it's plural. Thieves' tools.
Right.
And that is a proficiency as a rogue that you get that other classes don't normally get unless it's with their background or somehow with some other special feature.
Okay.
And we'll get back to how awesome that is in a second. Next is your saving throws. So rogues get saving throw proficiency in dexterity and intelligence. So right over here on this column next to where you see those,
Yeah.
fill in the circle next to dexterity and also next to intelligence. And we're going to go ahead and add in the numbers there. So what that means is you have a +2 proficiency bonus. So write down +2
Okay.
because you're level 1. If you have proficiency with something, whether it's a skill or a saving throw, it means that you add the associated bonus from your attribute with that proficiency bonus. So for example,
So
what's your
dexterity would be
strength?
20?
Your strength is 13.
So it'd be 15.
So write down in the +1.
Right here.
Yeah. Your dexterity is 18. That's +4. Your constitution's 18. That's +4. Man, you are a beast. What's your next thing?
Intelligence 16.
Intelligence is 16. That's +3.
Okay.
That 11 is just a +0, or just 0. You don't get any bonus either way. And what's your last one? Charisma is 12,
12.
so it's +1. So for example, when you go through and do your saving throws, you're going to have a strength of +1. Right next to that, right, +1.
+1.
Okay. and your dexterity is going to be +4, but because you have proficiency, it's 2, so it's +6.
For dexterity?
That's huge, yeah. So your dexterity saving throw, an example of that would be like, say the group is walking through a dungeon, and all of a sudden, like someone triggers a pit trap, and the floor beneath you crumbles. You might make a dexterity saving throw to like jump back before you fall down the pit.
And I'm the last one alive.
Yes, because
Yes.
you have such a huge dexterity saving throw, the likelihood is that you'll not fall in the pit, whereas somebody maybe who doesn't have proficiency in a dexterity saving throw and is wearing heavy armor might have a harder time. See what I
Okay.
mean? All right, what's your next one?
Constitution?
Okay, so no proficiency, so you just add Constitution, which is +4. That is still enormous.
Yes.
Because your ability score is huge. What's your next one?
Intelligence?
Okay.
And I have 16 plus 3.
So +3, and you have proficiency in it, so you add the 2, so it's +5.
Plus.
That's also huge.
Yes.
What's next? Wisdom?
Wisdom plus
Do you
0.
have anything in it? So
11.
it's just 0.
Just 0.
Yep.
Plus
and what's,
0.
Yep. And what's charisma?
12 plus 1.
So it's just +1. So now your saving throws are done.
Okay.
Okay, so skills. This is the cool part. Rogues are tremendously skilled. You have a wide swath of skills that you can choose from.
Okay.
I'll summarize them. You get to pick 4. This is where that whole jack of all trades thing kind of comes in play.
Yeah.
Acrobatics. So acrobatics is kind of any maneuver that involves dexterity over strength in terms of athletic things. So walking on a tightrope, running across roof to roof.
I'm probably going to
or
want
doing
that
like
because I have a super high dexterity.
Yes. So, like, for an example, like parkour is basically acrobatics, right?
Okay.
Swinging from ropes, anything that's kind of dex-based movement, that's acrobatics.
Okay.
Flips, somersaults, all that stuff.
Okay.
Don't fill it in yet. Let me read
Yeah.
through. The next one is athletics. These are more strength-based movements or activities. Lifting, pulling, pushing, climbing, swimming. That's all athletics. Okay. Deception. Deception is using your charisma to tell an untruth, for example, lying. But it could also be bluffing. Like, hey, I wouldn't mess with me if I were you. I have 4 friends with crossbows aimed at you right now. That's deception if it isn't really happening, right?
Okay.
Tricking your way into, past a guard with some kind of lie or bluff. So that's deception. And that's charisma based. Insight is wisdom based. It's your ability to discern someone's motives, okay? So to tell if they're lying, to tell if they're friendly or hostile, to discern anything about their motives. That's
Okay.
wisdom based. Intimidation is also charisma based, and it's basically getting what you want through the force of your personality and intimidating someone, okay? Investigation. This is more of a cerebral thing. It's intelligence based, and it's your ability to kind of research things, but also like investigate. Like you show up to a scene and literally like you look for clues, that kind of detective motivation.
Okay.
Perception is more wisdom based. That's like searching. It's noticing if you're going to be ambushed. It's perceiving something that just doesn't seem quite right, having to do with your 5 senses. Okay. It's not magical, but it's just kind of your sensory perception, your ability to spot. Performance is typically music-based, so it could be instruments, singing, but it could also be like storytelling and being an orator. It could be juggling, anything that's kind of performing related. That's
Okay.
performance, and it's charisma-based. Persuasion. This is the last of the big 3 charisma things, right? So deception is like lying, bluffing. Intimidating is like force of your personality, getting what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Persuasion is kind of like convincing people to do what you need them to do,
Come on, give it to me.
but without lying. It's
Okay.
it's persuade exactly. Just give it to me.
Just
Wait,
come on.
sorry, please,
Please.
give it to me. Like
Come on.
persuasion is your ability to inspire people to have them follow you, but also like getting what you want because it's true, right?
Okay.
Sleight of hand. This is your sneaky stealing, pickpocketing, but also you have like a dagger in your hands and the guards are approaching and you slip it up your sleeve and you're like, what dagger? I don't have any weapons. Like that kind of stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Sleight of hand is very useful for rogues. And stealth. Stealth is literally what you think it is. It's sneaking, it's hiding, anything related to being stealthy.
Okay.
So obviously you have a huge dexterity.
Yeah.
You could simply pick out acrobatics, sleight of hand, stealth, and that's 3 of your 4 skill options. And they would be you'd be like probably the best in the party at those 3 things.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Now, I don't want to force you because, again, YouTube people are like, you're pigeonholing him. I'm
Yes.
just telling you, like, if I was making a rogue and I had your stats, I would probably do something like
I
that.
was going to pick those.
But let's look at your other stats. What else do you have an 18 in?
18 in
Constitution?
dexterity, constitution.
Yeah, so Constitution doesn't really have any proficiencies. So let's move on. What's your next highest roll?
Intelligence.
You have a 16 intelligence. That's massive.
+3.
That's massive, Sean. So you could be stealthy, sneaky, stealing guy,
Yeah.
but
I
you
like
could
that.
also take investigation because of your beast intelligence.
See, I feel like, when would I ever use investigation?
Any number of times. I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
Let's say the party goes in somewhere, dungeon, caves, whatever, and you see a trail of blood, or you see like runes carved into a wall. You may use investigation. You may find some magical item, and you're not really sure what it is. You may go back to town and go to the library at the local temple and investigate the background of this. Okay.
Okay.
So there's a lot of opportunities. The other thing is, you are going to pick a background, okay? So the backgrounds typically come with some proficiencies. So if you want to just hold off and just keep those in mind, we could look at your background and see what backgrounds you like, and maybe the background has investigation or the background has something
All right.
else. So let's
I'm going to put a little dash
yeah,
about the ones
just
that
make
I
a note,
want.
okay? So we'll come back to that because sometimes it's smart to coordinate with your background, you know.
Yeah.
All right, under your weapons.
Weapons.
Okay, so you are really buff with dexterity.
Wait, is this right here?
So there's weapons and there's equipment and supplies.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you some options. Okay.
Okay.
So there are weapons that are lighter that use what's called finesse, which allows you, instead of using your strength in melee combat, you can use your dexterity.
Right for the heart.
So for an example, a rapier is a great weapon, a short sword, or a dagger. These are all light finesse weapons that you could use, and you get your dexterity bonus of +4 instead of your strength bonus of +1. But that's not all. You could have a short bow because you have a huge dexterity. So every time you fire your short bow, you would have a +4 for dexterity, +2 for proficiency. You'd have a +6 to hit with a short bow too. You could have both. What kind of weapon do you see yourself characterized with? Like, what do you imagine? Remember, you're a little person. Rock gnomes are not big. So whatever weapon you choose, it's going to be kind of,
So, my options are swords versus crossbows.
well, again, I don't want to limit you, Sean, because people get butthurt about that.
Yes.
But I do want you to know that typically you're going to have more of an advantage in combat if you stick with the lighter weight finesse weapons. I'll read you the ones that you could choose.
Okay.
Hold on. Dagger, dart. Okay. So
Okay.
daggers can be used in combat for melee combat or thrown. Dart is basically just thrown. Rapier, scimitar. Oh, so a scimitar is like a curved
All right.
short sword.
Question.
Short sword
No question.
and whip.
Okay.
You could Indiana Jones some things too if you wanted.
That's pretty cool. Could I use my sleight of hand to an advantage if I had like the darts?
You mean like to be able to pull them out and throw them quickly
And
before
no one
anybody
would
knows that
notice
you're
it?
there?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, and there's a game called Pathfinder, and in Pathfinder there's a class called the Knife Master that I totally worshipped because they could do that.
That's pretty cool.
They had like, they could sleight of hand their weapons, so almost like, and then, you know, you're not sure where it came from. I'm willing to work with you on that. It would
Okay.
require a couple rolls. It would be
Okay.
like sleight of hand to have the weapons concealed, and then your attack, and then a stealth or sleight of hand to like
To
make
cover
it
that
look
up?
like you didn't do
Okay.
that. And actually rogues can eventually do those sort of things with bonus actions because they have the ability at second level called cunning action to dash, disengage, or hide. So at second level, you could actually use that with your bonus action. Effectively hide, not yourself, but just hide the fact that you threw a dagger. So, but here's the point, Sean.
Okay.
You could have all those weapons. Rogues are proficient in any of those.
So I
You-
get 3
you just-
weapons?
no, you don't. I'm not saying you get it. I'm
Okay.
saying that you're proficient with it. So I
Okay.
want you to choose. Like,
All right.
imagine yourself style-wise, like a curved scimitar, a pointy, narrow rapier for piercing, a short sword for just straight-up slashing, you could have a couple, let's say that you have a short bow, a dagger, and then pick a blade. Now, I will say this, just because, you should know this. Rapiers do 1d8 damage. Short swords and scimitars do 1d6 damage. Some people are really into like maxing out their character's power. So it wouldn't even be a question. They'd be like, rapier, because it's 1d8.
Yeah.
I want you to think about the style of your character, though.
Okay.
Don't worry about how much damage you can do. I want you to imagine your rock gnome and figure out like what weapon is his vibe, what's his style. And maybe you're like, you know what, Bill, I don't need any weapons. I'm gonna have a short sword and a dagger.
I got knowledge.
Or just daggers. Maybe your whole jam is that you throw daggers and you stab people with daggers. Either way, you're gonna do great hits and damage because you have an 18 dex.
See, I'm kind of feeling like I like a dagger, for those instances.
You could have a bandolier of daggers. You could
And
just
then
be
probably some like dart thing,
Uh-huh.
because sleight of hand.
Okay, Sean. So your main projectile weapon is going to be that short bow. So here you're going to write in short bow.
Short
write
bow.
it small. And then your bonus to hit is going to be your proficiency plus your dex bonus. Do the math.
Proficiency
So dex, what's the bonus?
18 plus 4
So it's +4. And then what's your proficiency bonus?
plus 2,
What's the total?
24.
No, god damn it, Sean. It's 4 and 2.
Oh,
The bonus, not
six.
the actual.
Oh, okay.
18 is your stat. The 4 is the bonus.
Okay.
So it's 6
6.
plus 6 to hit.
Okay.
All right, the damage, which you're going to write next to that on a short bow, is 1d6 plus 4. So the plus 4 comes from your dex.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You're more accurate. Your higher dexterity gives you more accuracy, okay?
Okay.
Your next weapon that you want to write down would be your main melee weapon. Did you decide on rapier, scimitar,
Rapier.
short sword? Okay, rapier. That is going to be 1d8, or sorry, your to hit is the same, +6. And it's going to be 1d8 plus 4.
Okay.
Okay. And then you said you wanted a dagger, or you want darts for throwing?
Darts.
Okay, so you'll have dart, and that's going to, again, be +6, and it's 1d4 plus 4. Okay, now, on your equipment, you actually list these things. So under leather armor, write short bow, rapier, and then I'm going to say that you're going to start off with 4 darts.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so that kind of deals
Can
with
I
some of your combat.
Pick up my darts?
Yeah, you can go
Okay.
reclaim them. Now with arrows, I'm sorry, you also need to write down quiver of 20 arrows. So with arrows, I do a system where you can recover it, but you roll a dice, right? So it's, you
Okay.
roll a 6-sided dice. 1, 2, 3 means the arrow is broken. 4, 5, 6 means you can recover it,
That's fair.
okay? So it's like a 50-50 chance.
Okay.
And you can always buy more. All right. This is one of the dopest rogue features ever, and it's called expertise. So at first level, a rogue can choose 2 skill or proficiencies or tool proficiencies to be at expertise. And what this does is it doubles your proficiency bonus, okay? So let's say you took stealth. Remember that? How you're like, I want to take stealth.
Yeah.
And you probably will, right? So your stealth, if you took proficiency in it, would be +4 for your dex, plus
Plus
2.
another 4.
Right? So it'd be +4 plus 2, so that'd be 6. If you took expertise in it, it doubles this. So it's 4 plus 4. So now it's 8 instead of 6. Okay? Now, one thing you could do, remember that Thieves Tool proficiency?
Yeah.
You could take expertise in Thieves Tools, which is tremendously helpful
That I was
throughout
gonna
your
say.
lifetime.
Yeah.
Because then you have, because your proficiency bonus goes up as you get higher in levels.
Okay.
So by, here, I'll give you an example. By like 5th level, your proficiency bonus is at 3.
Does it always stay doubled?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the wonderfulness of it. So like by 5th level, your total bonus in Thieves Tool would be 10. You'd roll a dice and you had 10. You could pick any lock. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
disarm any trap. So
See,
that's
I kind of like that because on our team, I feel like we need someone who
well,
can
and
do
you're
that.
the rock gnome, and you're handy with tools.
Yeah.
So that might be one you want to do for sure, and then you pick another one. But let's hold
Okay.
off on that again because you're going to pick backgrounds too.
Again, because don't pick for me.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. All right. So last but not least is sneak attack. So
Okay.
sneak attack happens when you get the advantage on a foe. Okay, so once per turn, you can deal an extra 1d6 damage to one creature that you hit with an attack if you have advantage on the attack roll. The attack must use a finesse or ranged weapon. So all of your weapons, your short bow and all of your other weapons, use finesse or range. So that means if you have advantage, means that if you get the surprise attack on the foe before they can attack in initiative order, you get this extra sneak attack damage.
Okay.
You can also acquire advantage by flanking, and I'll map out how that works. But imagine basically there's a person here, and one of your buddies in the group is attacking that person. If you come in on the other side, on here, or there, you can flank them.
Okay.
And then you get advantage, and if you have advantage, you get sneak attack damage.
Yes.
It's beast. It can make it, I mean, I want you to think of it like this. You can get sneak attack damage with the lowest damage die ever, like a 1d4. And let's say you roll a 4 on that, right? You add your dex bonus, so that's 8 damage.
Yeah.
And now you roll an extra 1d6, and say you roll 6. So with a dart, you could do 14 damage. A dart, the stupidest weapon in the game, you could do 14 damage because you're a rogue. So it's pretty awesome.
The stupidest weapon in the game?
Did you write down sneak attack over here? Write it down.
Okay.
Okay, because that's huge. Under your languages, in that bottom left box, write down thieves can't. So it's thieves, like thieves tool, and then can't, C-A-N-T. It's basically a secret language for thieves, for rogues, okay? You can, and it's not just words. It's a lot of like symbols and like weird, signs and like jargon. Like you kind of walk up to buddy and it's like a slang that only thieves know with like symbols and stuff too.
Okay.
So it's kind of a cool little special thing. All right, that's it for level 1 things for rogues. Let's take a look at backgrounds. So Sean, backgrounds, as I mentioned before, are a way for you to flesh out your character and kind of make them a little more interesting, give them a little more life.
Probably going to go with carpenters.
Okay.
Yes.
So under your background, up there, you're going to write carpenter. And then now we're gonna fill in the circles next to insight
Insight.
and
Alright.
persuasion. So, what's the skill associated with insight? Wisdom?
Wisdom.
So you don't have any bonus in that from your wisdom, but you do because you have proficiency. You have a +2. And then what's your what's the other one? Persuasion.
For
So you have-
charisma.
Yeah. So you have a +1, +2, so +3 total.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're back to choosing. Oh, I'm sorry. You also write down carpentry tools.
Do I got to pick one?
You get a whole kit. Basically, you have a belt of carpentry tools.
Sweet.
Okay, so that's the proficiency, but here you write down carpentry tools under your equipment. So you literally have a belt and a bag full of tools.
Yeah.
Now you also get an additional language of your choice. So we'll get down to that in a second. But
Okay.
under your features, you have guild membership. So write down guild membership. And that is basically like you have a letter of introduction. You can go to any major city, any major country, and it's basically like, you're a licensed carpenter. Like people recognize your legitimacy.
Cool.
Okay, so we need to go back and pick out your 4
Yes.
proficiencies from Rogue. So at this point, you knew 3 of the ones that you wanted, right? Sleight of hand, stealth.
I knew all 4 of them.
Okay, what was the 4th?
I know them now, but I was going to do acrobatics,
Okay, so
investigation.
fill in acrobatics, investigation, sleight of hand, and stealth.
Okay.
And then, so now you're also going to choose expertise. So you get 2 things in expertise. That could be thieves' tools and 1 other rogue skill.
Does it have to be thieves'
No,
tools?
it doesn't.
Okay.
I thought you were interested in that, but I don't want to pigeonhole you, Sean.
Yes.
I don't want people to get upset that I'm forcing you to do things.
Yes. I'm probably going to do...
It could be any of those other rogue skills that you just picked.
Sleight of hand and thieves' tools.
Okay. So for sleight of hand, you're going to take this and double it, so it's 4 plus 4, so it's plus 8. Next to Thieves' Tools, you're going to take this and double it, and that is also going to be plus 8.
Sweet.
All right. Now, the other dex-based ones, Acrobatics, is going to be 4 and 2, so that's 6 plus 6. Stealth will also be plus 6, and Sleight of Hand will be plus 6.
That's plus 8, you said.
Oh, what
mean
was the other one? Oh, no,
Investigation?
investigation is your intelligence, right?
Yeah.
So it's 3 and 2 is 5.
5.
So everything that you have a black dot next to now has a number. That's the number that you add to whatever roll. So if you're like, I want to investigate this, this room and see if I can find the hidden panel in the walls.
Okay.
Or I'm going to investigate this old book that we found and see if I could crack the code.
I just add 5 to my roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, so and with your artisan tools, the carpentry tools, you are going to have your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence, so it's plus 5.
Oh. Sweet.
Okay. So we only need to pick one additional language, which we'll do in-game.
Okay.
But now you should have a character who has a race, a class, a background. You have all your proficiencies, your saving throws. Oh, your initiative bonus is plus 4, because that's your dex. Okay. You have your racial abilities, your background, and your equipment.
Yeah.
So in short, you are done. The only thing we need to know, Sean, is what is your character's name? Your Rock Gnome Rogue. What is his name?
See, I was thinking like a normal name, because I want to be like a normal guy.
Yeah.
So I just chose Willie Stroker.
Oh, Willie. That's a good kind of a short name for a short guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he probably strokes like a lot of wood.
Yeah, because
he's a carpenter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, good. Good,
Cool.
Sean. All right, well, the next time our audience sees you will be at the game table for episode 1 of season 2. So
Can't wait.
good luck. We'll find you a mini to use on the table, and we'll see
I'll
you
make
then,
one.
Sean.
Cool.